Undaudu to you and yours from Undaudu. I hope you're being safe in these trying times. I hope you are wearing a mask when you're going out. I hope you're social distancing. I hope you're taking the coronavirus very serious. It is the summer wind right here. It says summer wind, right? Natsukaze. As I prophesized, the summer wind is coming. I didn't know it was going to be a virus. I just knew this thing was coming. I just had this feeling this thing was coming. And hey, Bertola, how you doing? I'm on live on YouTube, and I want to talk about Brock Pierce and why I'm going to be spending a lot of time here on out from now to the elections, basically promoting. I know Brock Pierce. I visited him a few times, and I am the first to admit Brock is a card, right? He's quite the individual. But Brock is not the Brock Pierce of his gaming years of partying and doing all the things we once did in college. He is a different person now. And I know, for example, John Oliver kind of pulled up his past and stuff. But I have met the man personally. I have looked into his eyes. And one time, I'll be honest, I was kind of goofing around, and he read me the riot act because, he's very conscious about, moving out and what he does and everything. So yeah, if you dig up his past, there was some stuff in his past, and there's, stuff in everyone's past. Just look at Trump, look at Biden, look at everything. But the difference between Trump and Biden is you have to look at the track record of what that person's been doing. And since his move to Puerto Rico, he has been giving so much effort into helping the Puerto Ricans. Time, money, infrastructure. He has basically tried to help the Puerto Rican people. And he's been using Puerto Rico in a way as a pilot for what he could do for the rest of the country and now the rest of the world. So Brock Pierce, Brock the Vote, ultimately is an opportunity for us Americans who feel uncomfortable in voting for Biden, which is just another old white guy who has antiquated ideas, who's going to try to reuse traditional things. Or we can align ourselves with a new line of thinking, someone who understands the blockchain, someone who ultimately can make a difference, someone who has the connections, the knowledge, and everything else, and that is Brock Pierce. So what I am doing, and I try to do with Andrew Yang, and no one bit, but here's the difference between Brock the Vote and other candidates is he doesn't have a lot of time. So if you're really serious about getting the word out, what I've done is I have set up Brock the Vote on LinkedIn. You can join it, add it to your LinkedIn profile, and you can share it. Now, what does that do? When you share that, ultimately, you're telling everyone in your LinkedIn community that you are supporting and voting for Brock Pierce, that you are putting your vote behind Brock, not behind Biden, not behind Trump. And the reality, I know what some of you are going to say, well, maybe this will cause Trump to win. Here's my thinking. If that is the case, then maybe Trump should win, right? If we can't get enough votes, and I'm very realistic, I do not think Brock is going to be able to even show on the ballot this year. But it's not about this year for me. It's about preparing for 2024. It's about making a difference and bringing a real platform. Because when people start looking at the blockchain, when they start looking at the technologies that Brock understands, that Brock's been building, when people start looking at where we should be going with blockchain voting and everything else, then maybe it will influence, or maybe even Biden will reach out to Brock and say, listen, I want to bring you on as the vice president, or as, well, he promised to bring a woman on. I don't think Brock will get a sex change. But if Brock can have a modicum of influence on the direction of Biden's campaign, because so many people get behind Brock that Biden feels Brock is pulling a lot of voters from him, then maybe the Biden campaign will pivot some and adopt some of Andrew Yang, Brock Pierce vision, right? That is my hope, because I just cannot vote. You know, I thought I could just vote for Biden just because I want to beat Trump. And morally, ethically, I have to vote my conscience, because I have to live with that vote. In many respects, it's like, which is the worst of two evils. And it's a shame that that Andrew Yang, I think was probably strong-armed out of the campaign and stuff like that. And I understand why. But when Yang left and everyone left back then, it's a different campaign now. Trump is floundering. There wasn't the coronavirus. All this different stuff wasn't there. And so the dynamics of the 2020 campaign is very different. And we just can't have same old, same old. So I hope you'll join me in Brock the Vote by simply doing this. What you can do is simply add Brock the Vote to your LinkedIn profile, and either you say, I will vote for, I'm supporting, or I endorse, okay, Brock the Vote, and drive and help bring attention to, are you going to work?
Yeah.
Wow, in the rain? It's not, you're not going to be able to do much.
I'm supposed to work at 6, but
Oh yeah, that's my housemate. That's an undoubt. That's what we can do. So, yeah, Brock the Vote. Add Brock the Vote to your LinkedIn profile if you want to help. I created a group too. You can join the group, and I've put a picture of Brock. He is really a good soul. He is really a true individual, and I love the guy, I respect the guy, and ultimately I endorse, and I'm going to fight for the guy. So Brock, if you're watching this, I wish you the best, and I'm here. So I'm treating this campaign as a decentralized, right? We're all individuals. We need to go out there. We need to Brock the Vote. If we rely on trying to get permission for everything, like I didn't get permission to set up the Brock the Vote group, I didn't get permission to set up the quote company, right? I'm just doing it because I'm trying to Brock the Vote. So I hope others will be creative and take the bull by the horns and run with it. Because otherwise, if we run a centralized campaign, if we run one where you've got all these checks and balances and you got to go through all these permissions to do stuff, it won't happen. On the downside of that, you're dealing with nutters like myself, right? Who are going to run and say stuff which you may not like or appreciate, but you have to understand it's all done in good spirit, and well, that's it. So making apologies for myself. Anyway, Undoubtedly, Brock the Vote, join me in helping Brock Pierce at least get enough votes where he gets the attention of Biden. That's all I'm trying to do in 2020. In 2024, right? Let's actually put the first crypto president in office. And who knows? Maybe it'll be Brock Pierce. Undoubtedly.